Let's model part 11 in Inventor. So let's look at the part. This one we're adding some curves at the top. So when I draw this, I have to think about how I'm going to sketch it first. And with this is the front view, okay? And the way I would approach it is I would sketch the shape of this front view. And I would leave off the curve because honestly, it's easier to create the fillets in 3D mode and just fillet last. So this would be a fillet on this end of the curve. This would be a fillet. So I'm going to walk you through how I would model this part, right? So in Inventor, we're at our Start 2D Sketch, right? So I want the front view. So now it places me in a sketch window, and I'm going to move my origin down. I'm just going to start sketching the part. So I'm just going to draw the shape of this front view. And remember, I'm going to ignore the curve for right now. So let's make sure we get everything straight. There we go. All right, so that is the shape of part 11. So now let's start locking things into place and placing some dimensions. So the height of this, it's 2.5 to the center line and then a 1-inch radius. So that's going to be 3.5 inches tall. And then you see how that just made it look all crazy, but remember, that's fine. We're going to put measurements on everything to lock it into place. So on your sheet, you've got 4.5 with a 1-inch radius. So that's going to be 5.5. It's 1 inch tall. There's your measurement here. All right, we've got this piece. This is a 1-inch radius, so that means the whole thing would be too wide. All right. Okay, so do I need anything else? I've got this part. I've got the height. I've got the width. Got this piece. I don't really need to put this piece because I've already given it the overall and the 1 inch here, so I don't need that. So that should be everything I need on this part. So I'm going to finish the sketch. Now, we could have actually gone ahead and put the hole in here if we wanted to. So if you do want to save yourself a step, you can go back to sketch 1, double click and edit the sketch, and we could go ahead and put the hole in there. If you want to just go ahead and extrude it and then come back and put the hole on that face and then extrude it separately, that's up to you. You can do this in steps. So I'm going to actually do it in steps just so you can get comfortable with doing multiple things, okay? So here's the shape of my part. I'm going to go to the extrude button, and this is 2 inches wide. So when this pops up and it grabs the shape, I put in 2 inches and tell this okay. So now I can click on this surface, and remember, this is Create Sketch, which is the same as Create Sketch up here, same button. So I'm going to hit Create Sketch, and now I'm going to draw that curve, that circle here. I'm going to ignore the curves up at the top. I'm going to use fillet to do those last. And the reason I tell you to do your fillets last is because when you're dimensioning, it's a whole lot easier to dimension to a flat surface than the edge of a curve, okay? So I'm going to go to circle, and I'm not measuring anything. I'm drawing a circle. That's all I did, okay? So now I'm going to come back with my dimension button, and I'm going to click the center of the circle and click the side, okay? That's 1 inch over, top, center, click, 1 inch down, and then I need to tell the circle how big to be. So it's giving me the diameter, and it is a 1-inch diameter. So lots of 1 inches. Finish the sketch. Extrude. And remember, I don't want to add to the part, I want to cut into the part. So I'm going to click the cut button, and then I'm going to click through all. I could have typed a number 2 right there. It's the same thing. Tell it OK. And now you have your hole through your part. So now we need the slot on the top, this slot piece here. So I'm going to click on that surface. I'm going to click New Sketch. And now, just because I want it kind of oriented the way my part is oriented on the paper, I'm going to go over to my navigation cube and just click this arrow and turn it sideways. And you see I've zoomed backwards first because I'm used to AutoCAD, so you'll do that many, many times because it's exactly the reverse of what we do in AutoCAD. All right, so let's make this slot. So everything's going to be locked in place with dimensions. So that's the important part. So right now, let's just draw a circle. See how my little dotted lines keep things lined up? So I'm going to draw another circle. Remember, I didn't measure anything. Let's go to line. I'm going to pick and pick. Pick, pick, right? Now, let's trim. Click trim. And I already can tell this isn't tangent. See, it's not quite in the right place. That's fine, because that's what we're going to use our constraints for in our dimensions. So let's go to tangent, and I want this circle to stay tangent to that line. This circle, tangent to that line. Now hopefully over here it already is, but if not, see, it's giving me the tangent. It's giving me the tangent. Always pick everyone, even though it looked like it was tangent, that doesn't mean that it is tangent. So always check. Now let's lock things with some dimensions. So from the center point to this edge, that is 1. From the center point to this edge is 1. From this center point to the edge, still 1. I'm going to go ahead and do this one, even though it might still be, yep, it's already constrained because those dotted lines, when I connected and drew them, constrained them together. So that's fine. That's a good thing. So I can hit cancel. I'm still in dimension. So now look at what it's given me. It's given me the radius of that circle. So the radius is 0.5. The radius of this circle is 0.5 because see, it was already hooked together. That's fine. That's a good thing. So I've got all my dimensions where I need them to be. I can't really dimension anything else. So when I finish the sketch, there's my slot. Okay, let's go to extrude. Automatically picked it, that's good, but remember I want to cut. I want to cut that all the way through. It's only 1 inch tall anyway, so I really don't have to change anything, but you know, if you're never sure, just hit through all and tell it okay. All right, so here we go. We've got our slot, we've got our hole, we've got our shape. Now we just need to curve these sides. So we're not going to create a sketch. The easiest way to make these curves and to use fillet is to use the fillet on the 3D model tab. So here you find the fillet button. Okay, see fillet. When you click fillet, it's going to ask you for a radius. Well, the radius of our curve is 1 inch. This is a 1 inch, that's 1 inch, down here's 1 inch. So where it says radius, you just click in there and type in a 1. Now you can move over to your object. Now just pick the corner. It's not like in AutoCAD where I have to pick 2 lines. I'm actually picking the 3D corner that I want to fillet. Look at that. See how it made the curve? Pick that corner. Now this is a 1 inch, so I can do all of these at the same time. And then this corner, look at that. So when I tell that okay, my part's finished. Look at that. There is part 11. So unfortunately, we have not saved the entire time. So let's make sure we go to File, Save As, and you save this as part 11. And I will show you how to place these in title blocks so you can turn them in once we finish all of our practice parts.